So the question is, how is 2025's Martha Stewart's Gardening Handbook, the essential guide to designing, planting and growing, different from 1991's Martha Stewart's Gardening, month by month? The blurb on that one told us she had been gardening since she was 3 years old. She's 84 now. There have been shorter illustrated, do-it-yourself step-by-step guides in the form of 1999's Gardening from Seed, which was 112 pages long, 2000's Gardening 101, Learn How to Plan, Plant and Maintain a Garden, which was 144 pages long, and 2018's Martha's Flowers, a practical guide to growing, gathering and enjoying. It was 288 pages long. The 2025 tome, at 368 pages, is as long as the 1991 version. Both have been released in coffee table-sized format hardcover. So what is new? The new book has been released as an audiobook as well, with Stewart and Gabra Zachman as narrators. In 1991, her advice came from her trial and error over the course of 20 years on the 6-acre land located in Westport, Connecticut, called the Turkey Hill Farmstead. She sold that place in 2007. The 2025 book features lessons she's learned in her 153-acre Bedford estate in Katona, New York. Both farms fall in USDA Plant Hardiness Zone 6. By the way, in the good old days, a dedicated spread on gardening was published every March in Martha Stewart Living magazine. Unlike others who think they can wing it by selling dried flower sprinkles because some marketing guy told them they could make money this way, Martha gets her hands dirty. This snippet is of her handmade dried flower potpourri for guests from the 1991 book. Martha Stewart is probably the original influencer, Instagrammable before there ever was an Instagram. The pictures and illustrations in her books are always gorgeous, detailed, and authentic. Her keen eye, strong aesthetic, and hard work is supplanted by an army of helpers, landscape designers, plantsmen, caretakers, and botanical experts. She thanks all of them. She thanked all of them in the 1991 Handbook, which took 4 years to produce. Since she grows everything from the ground up, that is, from seed, that is, be it various flowers, annuals, perennials and bulbs, succulents and cacti, shrubs and trees, grasses, fruits and vegetables and herbs, her latest is good for beginners as well as established gardeners, and for cooks looking for fresh seasonal meals. You can either try a new thing or redo something old or remove what's not working. She is a teacher and this is a tutorial. The longest chapter is on specialty gardens such as rose garden, water-wise garden, that is a garden that incorporates water conservation principles, and habitat garden, that is a garden that nurtures birds, bees and animals for a healthy ecosystem. She's also into informal, idiosyncratic, wild-looking, low-maintenance cottage gardens and fields, which reminded me of the beautiful English countryside and the fictional Miss Marple's St. Mary Mead. The 1991 guide had recipes, and there are none here. But of course you can get them in most of her 100 previous books, this being her 101st book. You can get the recipes from marthastewart.com and the Martha Stewart blog as well. She even shares them on her Instagram page. I'll recommend checking out her favorite gardening books as well, which are given on her website. Of course, she has an entire library on gardening. In this book, there's instruction and vanity-laced joy. And then there's dedication, evolution, sentiment, satisfaction, and gratitude in the act of gardening itself, and incorporating it in cooking, entertaining, crafting. That's timeless inspiration right there to get something going. This is a way to be food sovereign and combat climate change. This is a way of life, the great outdoors that start one big adventure. Like she said in her Netflix documentary, an extremely quotable quote by the way, if you want to be happy for a year, get married. If you want to be happy for a decade, get a dog. And if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, make a garden. You know, another thing that I really like about Martha Stewart is that, she says that you can read all the books in the world, but at the end of the day, you have to try it. And once you try it, unless you try it, there's no shortcut to the actual experience of it. You can read 100 books, but there's no shortcut to the actual experience. And once you get into it, through the trial and error of it, that's when you will, once you get the feel of the soil, once you get the feel of the seeds and what they look like, and, what the soil needs to be and how they need to be planted, and which side of the sun, and etc. Those sorts of things. And taking care of a plant to fruition. You can read all the books in the world, but there's no shortcut to the actual experience. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from this book and frankly, her life.